Hello everyone and welcome back to Abundantly Minimal. Today is our last video in the 7 Days of Simple series. I am in a new spot as we shared in the last video. We did adopt a rabbit and there's a lot of changes happening here, which partially inspired today's video, but also is just going to lead to different filming locations as I figure out where that new filming spot is going to be. In today's video, we're talking about being able to finally let go, especially when there's that stubborn decluttering. It's items that we maybe initially think we're going to keep for a variety of reasons, but then when we go back later with fresh eyes, we're able to maybe make a more informed decision and finally let something go that maybe we should have let go of in the first place. But better late than never. And although I began my decluttering journey in late 2015 and haven't been actively decluttering as much in the last few years, today I'm sharing 3 different things and categories of clutter I'm finally letting go of now, years after I used these items, because I finally found peace with the fact that I can let them go and there's no reason I need to hold on to them in the future. So without further ado, let's jump in. First up, I'm finally decluttering my wedding shoes. Earlier in 2021, I made a video showing my minimalist shoe collection, and I included these because I still had them and they're technically shoes, but I've never worn them besides my wedding. At first, I thought I was going to use these for a video project, sort of to recreate the day or share some sweet thoughts on marriage now that it's been 7.5 years. But, here we are. And honestly, just looking at the quality of them, they don't look that great. They're not white anymore. And there's, like when you kind of pinch them, there's like a weird sound. So really, these aren't great. So if I wanted to make that video, I don't need these. And getting rid of them, like they've just sat around for 7.5 years at this point. There's really no point in me keeping them, so finally going to let these go. The next 2 items, I'll be showing one thing to represent them, but there are more accessories and whatnot that are also being let go of. This first one here is a fancier microphone. Now, Jake and I did start out podcasting back in 2016. We did 16 episodes of the Abundantly Minimal podcast, and with that, I didn't know how successful it was or was not going to be, so I invested in some quality microphones, microphone stands, and an audio mixer that would help sync the audio. And I had read reviews, I had seen tutorials that was a good setup, and it did work for us at that point. However, the current podcast that Jake and I are doing again is much more laid back. I'm just using the same microphones that I use for my videos, which can clip on to the shirt and just be hooked up to our phones. Then the video editing program can sync it all. All this to say, at this point, I don't see myself actually wanting to set up these fancier microphones just so we can record a video. It's just much more authentic feeling and low key to be able to do it the other way, more like we're having just a regular conversation on the couch that you're able to tune into and listen to. So because of that, Jake actually has a friend who does a lot of work with audio engineering, I believe is the technical terms for it, and he actually is trying to start a podcast or something. So we thought either in his work or potentially for that project, he would want these. All in all, the items are worth, I believe, between $200 and $300. So it was definitely, some might believe that was, a waste of money or, a financial regret. But the thing is, we continue to learn and evolve. And just by keeping these, I'm not necessarily getting more financial value out of them. So it's finally time to let them go. This last item here is also representing a much larger quantity of items, and we've got a bunch of different fabrics here representing my food photography work. It was very limited. Back in, I want to say 2018 was when I wrote my cookbook, Eat Simple, and I, at that point and earlier on, thought that I would want to go into more of the food blogging, recipe development, food photography world, and so through working on my cookbook was a great chance to dive into that and test things out. I bought a variety of different food photography props that I had learned about in an online course I took, and I used them to help me create that ebook. and I thought that I'd be creating other ebooks as well and maybe doing more. I know prior to Abundantly Minimal, I had created a free blog and had done some recipe creation on there, as well as a few, other little things as I was figuring myself out and my different interests. And while I love cooking, I think just in general, the trajectory of my life as well as the businesses here have definitely not been recipe focused. And that's fine. It doesn't mean that I can't continue to cook or share, a recipe or something in the future. But it's one of those things where it's easy to fall into the idea that we can do all the things and we can dabble in all these different areas. Ultimately, though, I'm trying to simplify my work life or my business life, and having all these different directions is not helpful for simplifying one's business, as well as has not proven to be, a viable or profitable direction for me to go anymore, even though I enjoy it. So I think I finally come to terms with that, and my food photography props were taking up a whole shelf in one of our cabinets. And this is obviously just part of it, but at this point, especially having a rabbit, we need some new spaces to fit different rabbit essentials. And so I couldn't justify keeping that cabinet space for random other stuff that I haven't touched in several years. I can still continue to sell that cookbook, and I'm still very proud of it, but that's just not what the direction looks like for Abundantly Minimal, and that's completely fine. It's just part of how we evolve and change. So this fabric, in addition to a variety of other dishware I didn't want to pull out right now, is all going to be getting donated or repurposed. Like, the fabric may be helpful with different bunny related things, so we'll see. But that's just kind of what I wanted to share today for stubborn decluttering, things that I'm finally letting go of. And I hope that this video also can help you identify some of those items that, well, you thought you were going to keep or use again, but maybe not. Maybe life happened and here we are. So I hope you can share in the comments below if you find any of these items for yourself. And now this officially concludes our 7 Days of Simple series. I hope you enjoyed these videos. If you missed some, I'll put several of them up on the screen so you can check them out. And I hope you stay tuned for something very exciting that I'll be announcing in the next one. We'll see you then. Bye.